First and foremost, before I get started with my lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this video will be edifying and to the point. And the topic of the lesson I wanted to get into is gentrification. Okay, and the reason why I wanted to get into gentrification is because as of lately, all right, not really as of lately, it's just something that has been on my mind and something that I've noticed over time. I've noticed a lot of Edomites, okay, jogging around my area, early in the morning, okay, and when I go, all right, to these particular areas in my city, all right, where, Jake is predominantly known to be in, the ghettos or whatever you want to say. I've seen them even jogging, around those areas, and I've also noticed that, a lot of these lands, all right, and houses have been bought up by Edomites. Okay, a lot of lands have been bought by Edomites, and they're building these, townhouses, or they're building like these little tiny houses in these areas close to the, the ghettos. In my particular area, it's not necessarily a ghetto, all right, it's more so-called, all right, middle class, all right, the area that I'm in, all right, middle class, so-called, black people, all right, Israelites, where Jake, basically dwells at. And, it's not a bad area where I'm at, so-called, all right, it's not a so-called bad area. And, in all honesty, the so-called bad areas, like my brother said from New York, he was like, the so-called bad area, the so-called not bad areas really be the worst areas, man. All right, because, they be filled up with murderers, all right, these psychotic Edomites, PDF files and, all this crap, that should be happening in their areas, man. All right, kidnapper, they be kidnapping people, and, most of the things that are, most of the things go unseen because of the, stereotype, all right, of white people being, a good Samaritan. In actuality, it be some of the worst areas. But back to the topic, my area, all right, isn't so bad, and I've noticed in the areas that, isn't so nice, where the houses are, very ramshacked, they look like trap houses, because majority of them are. A lot of those Edomites are moving into those areas, buying up those houses, renovating them, and put them either for rent or they're moving in them themselves. And, they're basically pushing Jake out of there, man. All right. Jake moving into apartments, or they're moving elsewhere. But Jake doesn't, understand, all right, that, the devil is basically moving right there in the back of his yard. And he sees him every day. He's smiling and laughing with him, telling him hey and hello, and they look at them as, the good guys, but they look at their own people, as nothing. They'd rather shoot up or beat up or rob and, unalive their own people, before, they do so with their enemy. And as the scriptures say, never trust thy enemy, man. All right, for iron rusteth, so does their wickedness, man. All right, so you got to be cautious in these times, because All right, we know that a civil war is definitely among us. All right, it's definitely on the horizon. People definitely know that we're in the end times. All right, they understand that, but they don't necessarily understand prophecy. And one of the prophecies is that there's going to be civil unrest. All right, there's going to be class wars, civil wars. All right, everything that you can think about or think of. All right, in those times, people are going to be going at each other's necks, man. All right. Matter of fact, let me just grab that real quick, man. All right. I didn't really have any scriptures on deck. I just was, something that I was meditating on, and I was thinking to myself, like, man, I just noticed, all right, or have been noticing, should I say, that something that's just been on my mind and I've been meditating on is that, I've noticed that a lot of Edomites have been, roaming around in the area. All right, this is bear with me for 1 second. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verses 2. And it says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." All right? Nation against nations, pretty much, man. All right? There's going to be whites against blacks. All right? Whites against Asians. Asians against, all right, natives. All right? So-called Native Americans. All right, Indians versus Chinese. I mean, every race of people are going to be against each other. All right. And, all right, just like the prison system, all right, when it's you in a situation where your back is on the wall, all right, and you can't trust anybody, what are you going to do? You're going to gravitate towards your kind because you're going to be naturally comfortable, all right, around your kind. And that's how it's going to be in the last days, man. People are naturally going to be pulled to and want to be with their kind, okay? Especially in a situation like that, all right? And I was watching this documentary, all right? It just came out, I want to say this year or last year. I can't remember, all right? But it's going into Katrina. All right, it's a documentary on Katrina, and basically, all right, it was going into how, they were filming, they put a whole bunch of films together about how, different people speaking about their experiences. And this one Jake, he was on the bridge, and he was like, if I go straight, I'm gonna be unalive because there's no telling what's across that way. You know what I'm saying? There's no telling what's to go ahead. There's no telling if there's any food, any shelter, all right, any safety for my family. All right, we may not live because we ain't got the resources to live. Or if I go back into the city, I'm gonna die because, those people that's not my color, those white people that's in the city, all right, they gonna shoot me. All right, they gonna kill me. All right, and it's gonna be in that time. All right, in that time it was basically shoot now and ask questions later, man. All right, there was Edomites that were getting together, at nighttime, just like you go hunting, all right, at nighttime, right, or you go fishing, right, and you got that big ass spotlight and you shining the light around, seeing and looking for some glowing eyes, all right, and anything that moves, you shooting at it. That's how it was out there in New Orleans, man. All right, bodies on top of bodies. All right, I remember the elder was talking about in this region, the elder was speaking about how this one Edomite was talking about how a bunch of Jakes was going up in his yard, man. All right, and he was shooting them at the gate, and he was stacking up bodies. All right, he was talking about, you don't know how many Jakes he killed, man, or how many people he killed. So just imagine in that day, man. All right, when you see that shit that goes on, all right, in these movies like The Purge, The Road, and all that stuff, that shit is real, man. That shit is real. All right, that shit is real. All right, and it's gonna sound like literally a third world country on this side, man. All right, AKs. You know, Jake got some wild things, man, and so does Esau. All right, so when these civil wars start happening, all right, when this civil unrest start happening, it's gonna be, a bloodbath out here, man. It's gonna be every man for himself. Let me go ahead and grab this real quick, all right? We always get this scripture because the scripture speaks for themselves, man. You don't have to say anything, man. The scriptures talk for themselves. All right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. All right, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the gun, or any weapon that you can get inside your hands, all right, to defend yourself or unalive the next person. All right, it says, for there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power, man. So when, all hell breaks loose, Jake is going to be going into these neighborhoods where these white folks are, all right? And a lot of these white folks are moving into these neighborhoods where Jake's is. So what Jake going to do? They going to go into their neighborhoods, into these houses, all right, where these white folks are, all right, because that's where they believe that the resources is, because many of these other people, they stacking up, man. They prepping, all right? They getting ready for it because they know it's coming. Jake just lacks the days, because you know how Jake is, man. He want to do that shit everything the last moment, the last second. He want to get shit together, all right? He want to wait till the very last moment. So he's unprepared. So when it does come, all right, where he going at? He going into these areas where he know it's going to be at, all right? And it's going to either be me or you. It's already going to be a me or you situation. So what? It's going to be a complete war. It's going to be a complete war zone, man. It's going to be a complete war zone out here. All right. It says, again, verse 15, for the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, so they're not going to regard their kings or their princes. What are the kings and the princes? Their presidents, their senators, their mayors, all right, the police officers, all right, all down to the most lowest ranks. All right, I always refer to that movie, all right, what is it, World War Z? All right, when, basically they're in the city, and everybody's scavenging around looking for food, all right, looting different stores, all right, convenience stores, taking medicine and everything. The police officer, he runs in the building, he throwing his hands up, the police officer run right past him. All right, why? Because he has a family to get to. He ain't worried about that. So when society collapses, everybody's just gonna be a regular person. All right, they ain't gonna. That's why most of these people, all right, the elders always talk about it, how these crooked, these CEOs and these people that own all of these businesses and different things, like what is it? That guy that killed one of those. He killed one of the health. I think it was he Shalakia. I believe it was the United Health, if I'm not mistaken. That guy that unalived All right, that guy that was the CEO or whatever he was to the medical thing. All right. So many of these people hate, all right, these people that are in the positions of power that are abusing and, all right, using up, all right, the people. All right, they're taking into account to this in their minds and in their hearts. All right. And when that time comes, they're gonna be dragging these people through the streets, man. All right. So that's what's to come. All right. It says a man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. All right, he ain't gonna be able to because it's gonna be martial law. All right, troops and boots on the ground, man. They already doing it right now. They telling you niggas right now. All right, they telling you that they fed up with you. All right, and most of these troops are gonna be going into these cities. All right, where you jakes are, man. All right, what? To lock you niggas up, man. Put you behind bars. Or send you off to somewhere. All right, wherever they're gonna send you to. All right, and the elders have been saying this for the longest. All right, the elders have been prophesying this for the longest. All right, and so have the other men of like mind. Have been saying that Jake is gonna be the target. You are gonna be the target. You are gonna be the one that they're gonna point the finger at of saying this. You are the cause of everything. All right. You better wake up, man. You got to wake up, Jake. All right. Again, a man shall desire to go into the city, all right, and shall not be able because of the troops, man, because of the unrest. It's going to be a troublesome time. All right. It says, because of their pride, their city shall be troubled, and their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. This is the things that are going to be happening, man, because this is a prideful, don't they say the few, the proud, the Marines? All right, they got the American eagle, the bird that you know, that flies the highest. All right, straight off of pride. What the scriptures talk about how he, sets his nest upon in the stars. All right, talking about Esau, Edom. All right, so because of their pride, man, the city's gonna be troubled, man. All right, and the Lord judges nations. He doesn't judge, just people. He judges a whole nation. All right, so for the wickedness of you Edomites, man, you all gonna suffer, man. All right, and the rest of you nations. All right. All the nations that have lived deliciously off of the Israelites, man, you going to get your just due in that day. All right? Just wait. All right? Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and shall spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right? Because that's how dire it's going to get in this situation. All right, just like you see out there in Venezuela, all right, that's going on. What? The currency drop, people were digging in trash cans for food. Okay, it was really dire out there, man. Even still, some people are I've seen, when I watch these different food channels, all right, they go into these different areas where, they learn about their culture and their food, and, they were going into how they, basically pick all the meat off of this food that people eat, and they clean it, and then they recook it, and they make it into a dish. That's how dire it's gonna get out here to be able to fill your stomach up, man. To be able to, fill up your stomach from the hunger, man. It's gonna get that dire out here. All right, even so much so that people are gonna start to eat each other, man. All right, because cannibalism is in the scriptures as well. All right, so people are going to be eating each other as well, man. All right, all of this stuff that's going on, man, the Lord is moving he's making chess moves, man. All right, according to prophecy, we can see it. All right, with our eyes, with the spiritual eyes, because the Lord has given us the eyes to see. All right, and it's a blissful thing, man. So, that's just something that was on my spirit and that was on my mind, all right, about how, these people are moving into these areas, man, and that's just the Lord, basically putting these prophecies together as pertaining to, nation shall be against nation. But that's pretty much it. Lord willing, this video is edifying and to the point. Until the next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.